Good morning. Welcome everyone to Authentic Conversations. How are we today?
Oh, we're great. We're great. What are the other options? No.
I don't know. Sometimes we're just trying to be in the moment. But if this is your first time joining us, my name is Amarelis.
And I'm Susan.
So welcome to Authentic Conversations, where we just sit down and chat about life, energy, being in the present moment.
Yeah.
Um,
Love.
so yeah,
Yeah. Love of self,
clarity.
love of others, how to get clear. Yeah.
So if this is looking funny, I did forget my stand. So authenticity here. And we want to be present for you guys. I'm praying to God that this looks good.
But you look Amaryllis, you look fabulous no matter what.
Oh,
So
not me, just the video. I don't care.
your energy, see, here's the thing, right? So your energy shines through no matter the angle.
Okay, good. So, because I don't know what angle my phone is on right now, but we'll fix that later, I guess, hopefully with technology. So,
Yeah. No, it's authentic. So you have an authentic angle this morning. It's original.
yeah. Listen, we want to be here for our audience. And I've realized that sometimes we get so stuck on trying to be so perfect with the angles and the lighting and the welcoming, and we is it done professionally? And I've just been wanting to just get away from that because that's not who we are.
And what
And
does professionally mean anyway? Like, so to whose standards? They might be offended or insulted or not like it. Well, who's they? We are constantly living our life in fear of judgment from they. And you know who they is? They is really us. So we have to let go of the judgment because there is no they out there that sets the standards for perfection or that says what's okay for a video angle or for lighting or for topics. There is no they, so the organic structure of this and the organicness of our life, right? We have to stop worrying about they and start paying attention to us because we're using they to keep us small, to create boundaries, to put limits on what we can do. So there is no they, there's only us, the I individual, the us collectively, and our gifts. And we have them, and our gifts don't care about the camera angle they're lighting. Our gifts don't care about the social construct norms. Oh, our gifts don't care about the social construct norms. We don't follow our knowing or our dreams or our intuition because we get caught up on what we believe the perception of others will be. And it's not about the perception of others. It's our pushing out of our fears and our insecurities. And we just call it they. So you want to know who they is? They is your own fear. So every time you want to do something and you don't do it because they might judge you, you can get past that because that's you. That's you placing judgment under the guise of they. There is no, hey, how are you this morning? How are they doing?
it's so true, Susan. I mean, and that's what we talk about here in Authentic Conversation all the time. I think, even Gary Vee says it, he's like, I'm always saying the same thing. And that is what we're always saying, is that it's coming back to your authentic self. It's coming back to the moment. We get so stressed with the future and where our children are going or where am I going in 5 years. And we go through this circle, and then in the judgment of like, how many videos did we put up, or how many people are watching, or is the right content, or the subject that we're talking about. And I love the fact that sometimes you and I just say, let's just go for this, because we feel the energy at the end of each video. We feel the spark of finishing our week when we have these conversations with ourselves, with each other, and our audience. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you as well. I mean, if one person listens and hears something that they need to hear to align them on their path or change their trajectory or, more deeply understand themselves, one,
Mhm.
because it's the ripple effect, right? You can't drop a rock in water without it affecting every single molecule in that water. So, it's not about, totality. It's not about all or none. It's really just about one insight, one opportunity, one spoken word, one shift in energy. It's one. It's one. I had an opportunity to go into a classroom uh, last week, and it was a business class, kind of focusing on careers and finances and those kinds of things. And it's interesting because you could use this everywhere. So the
Mhm.
teacher's like, "Hey, I've been working with the kids on really trying to trust themselves and understand themselves, and you're so passionate about it. Do you think you could come in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I have 15, I have 30 students between the ages of 15 and 18, that you have to capture their attention, but I'm not worried about capturing all of their attention. I just know that each one of them will hear something, even if they're resistant to it or they don't like it. That's an awareness, right? So I don't need each and every one of them to totally engage. I just need to share what it is that I know to be my truth. And through that, right, something will stick. Something will stick. So so I really enjoyed it. I did 2 classes, 60 kids, and at the end you kind of think like, okay, I wonder what's stuck. You don't always get you don't always get to know what's stuck. But as luck would have it, or alignment would have it, or as crazy as it is, the universe always likes to tell me right away. Bam. So I'm walking down the hallway. The hallway is empty. I turn the corner. It's during class time. I turn the corner, and there's this young man who's walking towards me, and he goes, I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I was in first period today. I just want to tell you that I felt everything you said." He said, "I want to do better. I want to think better. I want to feel better. I want to be better at the things I do. I want you to teach me more about this because I was coming to see you. I need to know it." I was like, "Ah, one, one. If you can plant one seed and put a drop of water on it, that's all it takes." That's all it takes, because you can't unlearn something you've learned. You can't unremember something that someone has reminded you about. So, it's such a beautiful thing. So this is all part of this. If you hear something about they, and they being your own guard or your own shield or your own barrier or your own limitations, then hey, I don't have to listen to they, because I don't have to be held hostage by my own fears.
I love this. I just had thank you for sharing this with us, Susan. And for those of you who don't know, but Susan is an amazing transformational life coach and has the beautiful gift of also being in the school system, which we need this more than ever, I feel, as the energy of our universe is changing and our youth sort of gets ignored all the time, and we always forget as we get an adult, right, that they are not ready to have these kind of conversations, and they are, and that is definitely one of our main goals, is to get out there and reach out to our young youth who's really hungry for this. And Susan gets it all the time when she works with her athletes, who are especially young male, who don't have people talking to them about sensitivity and tapping into that, and they feel it. I mean, I have 2 boys, and one loves to pray out loud, and the other one is very like, I'm having my private conversations, and I love it because I don't change it. One is spontaneously constantly like, oh, let's give thanks, we can't eat dinner and without giving thanks, and he's very like, I've made it in my household that it doesn't have to be like a rule of when you give thanks, because that's the other day, right? Like they have the rules that you must sit down and not eat before you give thanks. And I'm like, no, as long as you give thanks,
Yeah.
let's give thanks. If we one is hungry and the other one is still, getting things ready. And I used to get tied up on that. I used to be like, no, 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 the food has to be there and everyone has to be at the table. Nobody eat.
Let me ask you a question. You used to get hung up on it because they told you that that's how it had to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some sort of unwritten fear of doing it wrong made you so rigid and so structured. The spontaneity is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working on it every day, working on it to just say. And I just had an amazing session with Holly, who we definitely are going to have as a guest here. And she has this beautiful workshop called Values. And so you do a timeline and you go through your hot valleys and lows and highs of your life and figure out what your values are. And this was amazing, because even though we're doing the work all the time, right, you have to hear it in different ways. And one thing that she said was, when you get triggered, whether it's at work, at home, with your children, your spouse, that trigger is usually about one of your values being offended. Compromise, right? But realizing that whatever your value is, once you know your values, then you can also step back and know that this is what I believe. Let me find out what this other person's values are. Let me take the time to get to know them, especially when they are our significant other, because we spend a lot of time with them, or our coworkers as a boss. Because I realized for me, one of them of my values is hardworking. Or just when I think somebody's being lazy, how my judgment comes in and I get triggered, because then I'm very like, well, why are you not working hard? And she brought up to me like, well, what is working hard? What is working hard for you in your values is different for somebody else.
Definitions are different. People's lives are different. People grew up with different experiences and different cultures and different homes and different parenting styles and different value systems. Yeah. So we educate each other, on what's important to each other, and it makes the work a lot easier, because then it opens the line of communication and it releases the ideas of like resentment and frustration and jealousy and, all of the things that are energy suckers.
Yeah. Yeah, because you get sucked into this idea that you have in your mind of how things should be.
Should is they. That's a predisposed idea that the world is not fluid and moving with you, but rigid, and you must adhere to it.
Yeah. And then how beautiful it is to, when you let go of control.
Of the things you have no control over anyway. It's only perceived control. Yeah.
Right. It will all align. I was at a yard sale yesterday, and this woman, I was looking at her stuff, and she's like, oh, where do you live? Or are you guys from the neighborhood? And I said, oh, no, just moved here. And we end up in this conversation about, where I'm from. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I'm going to New York. Yesterday I was cleaning my cabinets and I was telling my husband, what if I just met somebody from New York who would help me figure out this vacation? Not only did she meet somebody from New York, but she met a tour guide from New York.
Of course. She manifested. She asked for it.
And she asked for it, and again, Jimmy's like, wow, like, talk about the universe and aligning, he's like, I can't send you outsourcing no more, because you always find people who are like, I want to be your friend. You come in with this energy, like, talk to me about your problems.
Next on the checkbox, $1 million. Come on, you can manifest people who need New York tour guides. You can manifest anything. You can.
And the $1 million will come when you're ready for it. Because guess what? Being here today is already $1 million.
It's
Being
treasure.
in that, the treasure of the moment of having health and my children, and we get stuck in that, we need that $1 million because when we have that, we're going to be happy. But being happy right now before
Will
that
align
comes.
you, will align you with $1 million life, with $1 million
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I used a really interesting analogy in meditation on Thursday. And it was about the roadblock, the detour, right? So you were there when this is how we live our lives, because we're so programmed by they and the path we must take. So metaphorically, you're driving down the road and you come upon a bridge is out or a detour, right? But because you were told that this was the path that you needed to be on, right? You will sit and you will wait till the construction is done. I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, 2 years, whatever. Like, how long, if you were driving your car, how long would you sit at the detour sign before you decided that it was safe and okay to take another path? And I think that that's so, so prophetic. It's like, so often we sit because we're designed to be linear, and we're seeing that in order to get there, I have to do this. There's 1,000 ways to get there. And when you arrive in the vicinity of there may not even be your final destination. But a lot of that is under the guise of what we believe we should be doing, or what they say is the way to get there. So we go back to the original part of the conversation. They say to have a good YouTube channel, you need to have proper lighting, and you need to have proper angles, and you need to have proper sound equipment, and I say, you need a laptop or a phone, right? That's all you need. That's all you
Yep.
need. My daughter was 3. She locked herself in the bathroom and knock, knock, knock. What are you doing? Nothing. Okay, nothing. I finally get the door open, and she cut her hair. So, I'm like, oh, honey, here I am staying, calm. It's not a big deal. Hair grows, right? I was like, you need to go to school, and you need to get a license in order to cut hair. And she looked at me and she goes, no, you don't. You just need scissors. I was like, you're right. You just need scissors. So forget about all the things that should be aligned before you do something, and start doing and moving in the direction of the things that feel right for you. And the stuff that you need to align with will show up.
They will.
It will show up. It's like a deep breath in. It's like, yeah. Love to breathe. Love to breathe. It's so invigorating.
You mentioned our Thursday meditation, and I invited my daughter. And she's young. She's like, okay, I'll join in. And then, she's like, my phone's gonna die. And I'm like, you have AirPods. So we're going through all the obstacles while the meditation is happening. And then I, finished, and I said, how did it go? She's like, yeah, it's good. I just have a hard time. I'm working on it I said, yeah, to calm the monkeys in your mind.
Oh.
And I said, yes. I said, but, don't give up.
It takes
And
practice, like
it
everything
takes practice, and don't look. She's like, there's one girl on Instagram, she does a whole hour. I said, good for her.
Yeah.
I said, but you sat down for, maybe, if you want to count it, and who cares how many minutes it was, that your
That doesn't
mind
matter.
cleared.
Yeah.
I said,
Or you just slow it down and
yeah.
observe it. You're never going to get rid of all your thoughts, because
Mhm.
we're thinking beings. That's who and what we are. But if you can slow it down enough to pick and choose, if you can slow it down enough to decide which thought you would like to attach your truth to, because you got 50,000 of them coming at you every day, and there's no way that you can attach to all of them. The unfortunate part is that we tend to attach to worst case scenarios instead of best case scenarios in thinking. And I will tell you that if you can start to see the light side as opposed to the dark side and reach for the best case scenario, even if the best case scenario still feels a little bit dark, it still puts your frame of thinking in a better energetic place.
And then your energy will align. And that's what we talked about in our videos, the laws of the universe, you know, and it does. It's just like that lady manifested this one conversation. You know, maybe to some others it's like, oh, okay, so she found somebody who can give her a tip on how to take a train in Times Square. But for her, it's a big deal because it's a less energy that she has to spend while she has a business. She's a mom. She's like, you know, there's these expectations that, you know, if the vacation doesn't go well, it's all on me. I planned it, but we're on a budget.
It reminds her that things are going to line up, that it's all going to be okay because, hey, look, what are the odds? No, the odds are always in your favor. They're always in your favor. That's the thinking. That's the process of aligning yourself with the best possible scenario.
And as a human, just remember, guys, you know, when you think that you have it and that roadblock comes in and you're like, I didn't plan for me to have a roadblock and then be late. I'm going to this job interview. Now I'm going to be late. What, you know, what's going on? And you get the road rage and then you get upset at everything, whatever you believe in, because now you're feeling like nothing is aligned. It's the time to be in the moment, to pause and trust. And I know that this is not easy to say because we've all been there. And Susan and I can tell you thousands of stories. You can tell us thousands of stories of the times when you were just like, this is what I had planned. What's going on?
Yep.
And then at the end of it, right? It's always like what people say, we'll be laughing about this in a couple of years.
100%. 100%. You know, it's, you know, if you can ease the stress, you know, the joy comes quicker. And, you know, I call them oiks, OOYC, out of your control. You know, that road being closed, out of your control. Oik. Okay, where am I going next? I will allow the universe to show me the new path.
Yeah. And we're so easy to just let that be when, like today, this morning, I was on my way here and I said, I'm not going to use the GPS because I love trying to learn my new environment and just get to work without it. I'm like, okay, no, it's an easy route. Get on the highway. I don't want to get off. So funny that you're using this roadblock, but that's what happened to me this morning at 6:30 in the morning. Why would it be a roadblock at 6:30 in the morning? I'm like, really?
Yeah, you never know. You never know when.
So I said, okay, panic can set in. You know, I'm driving. So obviously and my plan is to get off, but now that's blocked. So I have to go here and I have to just stay here. And I said, okay, calmly, you know, move my phone, which, you know, you have to be so careful when you're doing that because you're driving, you're using your GPS, and I have my phone mounted. So I said, and I had a pre-plan, like, I'm like, I always try to, just in case this happens, because I don't know the area that well. But the pause, what can happen so much is that I can just pull over, go to the gas station, hit the GPS, and it will reroute me.
Yeah.
And then I got to work.
Don't overthink it. So, Amaryllis, I love this. It's awesome.
Yes.
Always
Thank
good.
you guys. Always. Thank you, Susan, for joining me in the mornings and just having these wonderful conversations. Again, guys, Thursday nights, if you need 8:30, if you need the link, just reach out to us. We're on Instagram and on YouTube. Send us a short email. We will send you the link. It is free. And we hope that you enjoy these videos. If there's any subject you want us to talk about, please let us know. Thank you.
Susan J. Cooney at gmail.com will get you to me. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.